Hey, this is John Carlos, and I'm here with a look at the NECA action figure of Bishop from Aliens. This is the second Bishop figure. This is him after he's been attacked by the alien queen. The interesting thing about this Bishop figure is it's half a figure, which might rub some people the wrong way, but I think there's enough accessories here to justify the price of a single figure. The one thing you need to be on the lookout for is the head. Like, it's got a good sculpt to it as far as like the profile goes, and like, yeah, his hair's a little wonky. They did a good job sculpting his hair in that wet, wonky, messed up fashion. Like, the sculpt is pretty decent, but where it gets a little weird is the paint. Like, you see, they didn't go for a skin colored base for the figure and then paint the rest like the white android milk that comes out of him, his android blood. The skin is painted on, then the eyeballs and the milk, so everything has kind of a cartoony feel, which is only exacerbated by the sort of black line that goes around his eyeball. And some of them that I saw had really heavy black lines, which gave it a really cartoony feel. Also, some of the white milk around his mouth, I saw some where it was really heavily painted on, which just gave him a weird look. There's something about this sculpt and something about this paint that's just slightly off. It's a little weird. But you kind of get the point. It's just the Lance Henriksen look, it isn't totally there for me. Granted, he does, you know, he's not in the best shape at this point in the film, so whatever. The rest of the figure looks really good, though. Like the stabbing in the middle of his chest where the queen stabs him with his tail looks good, and his little android entrails look great. All his little guts, very well sculpted. And the way they kind of spew out there, the way his shirt's all wet and kind of flattens out on the ground. All the milky discharge on his chest. The arms appear to be the same arms from the previous Bishop figure, because they can, you know, afford to at least reuse those, but they added some, you know, white paint along them, including the inside of the hands. So there's some good detail. First of all, good sculpting on these hands. It looks good, but also the paint on them is pretty solid. His watch is good. The little sulaco patch looks good for the, you know, Colonial Marines. Also, I dig the fact that the back of him is sculpted to be flattened out, like the fabric wrinkles, the fabric flattens out. So, I mean, that looks pretty good, like how it would if you were, you know, an android that was ripped in half and then laying on the ground. The figure doesn't have the biggest range of motion, but it does allow his head to tilt up a little bit, and that looks pretty decent. And this allows you to recreate one of my favorite moments in the movie, when, you know, Ripley opens the airlock and all the air is being sucked out, and he's like, "Oh," and that just cracks me up. So I'm really glad that you can kind of play with that. It has playability. It also comes with a couple other accessories. It comes with the egg and a facehugger. And I gotta say, the egg looks pretty good. It looks pretty gross. I think they did a great job with the sculpt of it. And also the paint. You've got the green, but you've also got these little brown highlights going across it. It flattens out at the bottom, and it just, you know, places well. But what I really dig is the slime going across the edges of the opening, the way it stretches out there. I think they did a great job sculpting that, because it is sculpted on and then painted as well. Also, there's the inside of the egg, and they did a great job with the paint of that as far as like the little interior pinkness of it goes. Like, this is awesome. Really gross looking, really good looking. And then you get to the actual like face hugger, which looks great. Like the interior of it, like its little mouth port before it, you know, mouth rapes you, looks really good there. The little like bladders on the side, the little fingers, all looks really, really good. Now they're posed in that position, they aren't bendy. They're sculpted that way, but this does have a bendy tail to it, so that's cool. You can bend it in whatever way you want to, up until this point there, but there's a wire in there, which I think is cool because it allows you to maybe get it inside the egg, like so. I paid 20 bucks for this. So the way I break it down is I paid 5 bucks for the egg, 5 bucks for the face hugger, and 10 bucks for the Bishop half figure. And I gotta say, this is a pretty good quality $10 figure. So I think overall this set is worth the price. And I'm personally proud of myself for doing this whole review without mentioning that Bishop looks like his face and chest is covered in jizz. Ah, crap. Well, thanks for watching.